Right, hi everybody, you join me today at the fabulous Glebe complex in Leicestershire, where today we're going to be talking through a little bit of top 2+2 work, bit of short fishing with hard pellets, which is, you know, a real banker method for a lot of venues around the country. And we're just going to show you one or two little tips, little wrinkles, just to put a few extra fish on the bank. And also, you can see it's quite a dull, cloudy summer's day for a change. Hopefully later on this afternoon, we're going to do a bit of kerb crawling down this edge and some fantastic margin fishing for you. Well, that's the plan of action anyway. Let's hope it all goes to plan. Well, we've been fishing a few minutes. Here's my first bite today, and we've got a carp on now, so we'll take it from there and hopefully we'll catch you a load more. On steroids. Right, well, there we have it. There's our first fish of the day. I'm sure we've got the tactics right. Here he is. Not massive by Glebe standards, but a nice starter. So let's get him back and talk you through exactly how we're going to fish it today. Right, top 2+2. You know, you've heard it called that so many times and you know, along the way and how we catch fish. And it's not always about fishing top 2+2. It's finding the right depth, what the fish want to feed at. It's also finding where the shelve's sloping away and it meets the gradual flat of the lake. On any commercial, wherever you go in the country, you'll have that inner shelf, the gradual bottom before it goes up to the other side again. And what we're trying to do on a top 2+2 line, we're trying to get them fish feeding just up from the shallow bottom onto the slope. We want them fish feeding on the slope. Inevitably, it's an hard bottom. There's very, very little silt there, and carp, as they approach the shelf, they haven't got to bend down and they're coming to take bait on the shelf, and that's why it's such a good line. And also another fact, any bait that we potentially drop in here or, you know, will gradually get wafted away and it'll go to the bottom or somewhere near the bottom of that shelf. So any carp what's swimming in any commercial, it's a natural patrolling route for them to feed, which makes it such a good match winning line. That's what I'm going to say, match winning line, that's what it is. So plumbing up, we need to plumb it up, out you go, find the bottom of that shelf and just come back about ½ metre. It's as easy as that. Just so you've plumbed up, you go out that little bit further and it's deepening off, come back that little bit and you're starting to come up the shelf. That is the perfect presentation what you want on this top 2 and 2 line. And like I mentioned it earlier, it's such a match winning tactic because you can start your match on that line. And I see a lot of people, they totally disregard that line until later in the match. But it's a great line to start on, and it sometimes just nicks you that 1 or 2 fish. You know, inevitably there'll have been a match on the day before, a little bit of bait moved in, and then fish are still patrolling around looking for them remnants of pellets or corn or meat or whatever what's left. So you literally go out there, your first cast, ½ dozen pellets at back in it, you might just snare one of them proper big uns. It ain't going to last you all day. If it does last you all day, you're certainly going to win the match. But get them 2 fish initially, come off it, do your other things out in the lake, but there's nothing to stop you, you know, just keep feeding it because it's going to be your 3rd, your 4th, sometimes even your last hour line when them fish move onto it, when they're wanting to come in the sides and the edges to get a big weight. So that's why it's such a popular line. Tactics, tackle wise, straightforward, we don't mess about. 018 main line, cover you for most things, most fish it'll do you for. 020 if you want to go that little bit further if the fish are bigger. I'm using a Maver MVR Series 3 float today, diamond shaped, it's 0.5 gram. Wind's a little bit tricky, so when we go through how we put the rig in, you'll see why I've gone for that little bit heavier float today. And shotting pattern, really straightforward. I've got a bulk roughly a foot from the hook, one number 10 dropper 6 inches from the hook, and then I've got an 016 MVR line as a hook length and a 16s hook as well, and we're just fishing a banded pellet. It's as easy as that, it's as straightforward as that. Elastic wise, I've got the dual core 14-17, nice, soft, lets me hook the fish, out the peg, ship it back, and I've still got that little bit of pulling power if I should hook one of them double figure fish. So, right, let's get underway, show you how you feed it, see if we can get some more. Right, I've got a banded 6mm on. Let's get out there. First thing I need to do, I like to throw my pellets on that line. You know, the fish like the noise, they hear the noise coming in. So, 6 pellets. Out to my top 2 and 2 line. I'm basically laying the pellet on the water, the bulk shot, and then I start to lower my rig in until I roughly get a foot to 18 inches off the bottom. Let the tackle straighten up and then lower it in that last bit. Ideally, you're looking for that nice little slow fall in the last sort of foot of the water, which is where the fish should be taking your bait. And it's just a case of going in, lowering your rig in, lifting and dropping. I'll explain that a little bit more later on. But what you're trying to do, you're trying to get your pellet to fall, here we go, exactly with the other pellets what I've just thrown in. So I threw them pellets in, put my rig in, lowered it in, lifted, dropped, got one. Now we've hooked a fish. Only thing I'm going to do then, 6 more pellets, which should hopefully line one up for the cast after. Halfway in, few more. Let's concentrate on getting this one in. There we have it, not a massive fish, but good 3 pound, proper weight builders. Perfectly hooked, right in the top lip, which is exactly where you want them and you know your presentation's right. Put another pellet on. Show me elastic's working. I think same procedure. 6 pellets. In they go. Lift that rig and bolt. Just lower it in. And in theory it just does that. I stress it, you know, I can't really stress it enough, the importance of just getting that presentation right. Hooked a fish, 6 more pellets. I think this one's going to take a bit longer. No need to rush him, we've done our job, we're hooking it. Must just keep my pole low, gather that elastic. Here we go. And that's the real beauty of this line. Once they start to come on it, you get them competing. It's just like shelling peas. So you just have to get into that nice steady rhythm. Keep your pellets tightly together. So they make that noise, it's like, it rattles in. It's just like ringing a dinner bell. You fed them pellets. Out we go, drop the bulk shot. Lower it in. Here we go. Like we said, few pellets, put them in. Follow it in, lift, drop among them pellets. And here we have another. Right, one thing a few of you might have noticed is how I'm playing the fish. You'll see I keep my pole really low. I'm literally wanting to point my top kit at the fish. And by doing that, it's putting minimum amount of pressure on that fish. Because the harder I pull, the harder that fish is going to pull. And I'm just going to show you just a little example here. I'm not going to literally do anything there, and watch where this fish will come. If I just gradually just start taking a little bit of, I see people pulling like hell on kits. If I just gradually do that, look, here we go. It's literally right under my tip, look. See, with no elastic out at all. But as soon as I start to pull back harder on it, oof, off it goes. So I see people pulling and pulling and pulling, and really, they can just be like dogs on a lead. You can lead them into exactly where you want them. So there's a little tip for you. Don't be pulling like hell on your power kits and on your elastic, because slowly, and you can just, like I say, lead them in just like a dog. And there we have it, just like that. £5-pounder. Right, there we have it, look at that, lovely £5-pounder. Perfect weight builders. The fish do get bigger as the day goes on, but you know, 20 of them in a match, you're going to be well on your way to winning. So let's slip him back, and I'll just give you a quick recap on how we fish that top 2+2. I'll just dry my hands. Right, top 2+2, there you've seen it in action, you've seen it in full flow. Proper match winning big weight line on any commercial that you're ever going to go on. But it's about keeping it simple, nice and steady. Half a dozen pellets, lowering your rigging. Them fish, they're waiting for them pellets coming in. Your pellets coming down at the same time as the others are falling, and it's a case of presenting it in that lift, drop, on. Hook a fish, few more pellets, play your fish nice and gentle. You do it that way, you're not going to get in any pulling out of fish and losing fish and whatever. Sometimes it's all about just a nice steady momentum and keeping that feed going in, lifting, dropping, presentation, and it'll put you a massive weight on the bank. Right, there you go. Bit of top 2+2 fishing, hard pellets, great starter line, a fantastic third, fourth hour of your match line where you can put a massive weight together. But what we're going to do now for you, this is the difference between an also ran and winning the match. We're going to do a bit of kerb crawling, hopefully catch a few margin dwellers for you and get some elastic streaming out this pole. Right, here we go, margin time, bit of kerb crawling. We've done us bit out there, we've caught some fish on top 2 and 2, done whatever we can through there. The most important part of anybody's match is coming down your edges. It can be a difference between winning, losing, being an also ran, or having your name on Match This Trophy as a winner. They can get you into trouble, but they can get you out of trouble so easily. You can amass £100 of fish quite easily in an hour. if you get it right, if you get your feeding right, your tactics right, your tackle right, and everything, them margins can make you a hero. Right, this is how we've gone about it today. I kept it nice and simple, ground bait and maggots. You know, I think a lot of people fish ground bait and maggots here, there and everywhere, and I get loads of questions about ground bait and maggots, but we have kept it quite simple and straightforward today. It's just a mix of ground bait and maggots, which we'll show you. It got 6 big pots an hour ago, and I've kept topping them up at regular intervals. I'm basically trying to get them fish nice and settled and confident and feeding properly before we go in on them. Yes, we might catch the odd perch or we might catch the odd small roach or things like that, but by constantly keep feeding a little bit of it, feeding a little bit of it, we're going to feed them smaller fish off, and then the carp are going to move in. So that's what we're hoping in theory. Right, tackle wise, you're going to be a bear, certainly be a grizzly, take no prisoners. Elastic, the new Trico 15-18, awesome for this type of fishing. You know, proper, strong, sturdy elastic. It's going to get you your fishing quickly. I've only been using it recently since we first came onto the market, and I can honestly say it's the best margin elastic I've ever used. Even for fish right up to 15-20 pound. Brilliant, brilliant elastic. Powers up quickly, just what gets them carp under control. Main line 0.22, rig mono, can't fault it. All the way straight through, no prisoners at all. I don't want any hook lengths on when I'm fishing margins. If I'm on for a weight, I have a break off or something, I'll just put another rig on. I just want everything to be as strong as possible. Float wise, we've got the Reality Series 2 floats, nice thick bristle. You want that float. I have all the bristle showing when I'm fishing down the edge. I want all that bristle so you're getting no liners and indications. When it goes under, I want to hope it's a proper bite. Yes, you will foul hook fish, everybody foul hooks fish, but hopefully you get him feeding right and feeding confidently. It minimises your foul hook is what you get. Hook wise, Carp Power 1, size 12. Again, I'm taking no prisoners. I've got a big bunch of maggots on there, 5-6 maggots, and we've just basically got a little spread bulk of number 9 shots, 4 number 9s, just so we've got that nice little bit of movement in last sort of 6 inches of water. You can see I've got a big aerosol top on top of my pole, because what I'm going to do is I go down the edges, I'm going to put a little bit of ground bait in like that. You'll see I've nipped it into a bowl because they are quite deep edges here at Glebe. They're 2.5 to 3 foot at times, and I want that bait to basically go down and literally open up in the bottom third of where I'm fishing. And all we do, and I think this is quite important, is you put your rig in first. Settle it in your peg, and then drop the bait over the top. I didn't want to drop that bait in first. Had an indication then. I didn't want to drop that bait in first, for the simple reason I want to get my bait at bottom and then that bait to fall around it, and hopefully a fish comes straight in and onto it. Had a perch. Like I said, don't worry about your small fish you get. I know I've put a little bit of bait in there, but same thing again. I wanted to set that trap. Oh, it's a bream. It's a bream. It's a big flat bream. Let's talk to you about baits, what we use for our margin fishing today. Dead straightforward, dead easy. We've got ground bait, and we've got dead maggots. It's as easy as that. Ground bait wise today, I've got a mix of swim stim method mix, which is in the 2 kilo bags, marine halibut, 1 bag of that, mixed together, gives you the perfect margin mix. There's a few nice sort of meaty particles in there for them to feed. It's got a nice, strong fish meal content as well, which these fish love, but it's also got that little bit of stickiness. And the stickiness is what you need in this ground bait, especially when you're going down your edges. Well, now you will notice I've put my maggots into my mix. Now there's literally a splattering of maggots there. I see people loads of times feeding 4s and 5s and 6 pints of maggots, and it's too many. You know, the ground bait is the attractant, it's the maggots they want to eat. I'm from Yorkshire, me, so we treat them mean, keep them keen. That's what we need to do. And you know, there's a few maggots in there. That's what they're interested in feeding on. They want your bunch of maggots on the hook. So give them a few as a taster. The ground bait's the attractant, and then you nail them. And the stickiness was important in what I'm saying, because you see, I had a little pot on end of my pole. Yes, it was 3 foot deep, but I wanted that ground bait to drop a bit before it broke up. And it gives me a chance to squeeze a ball like so and put it into my pot. So I know for a fact that when I go out like that, I can drop it. It's going to go a good couple of foot down and then break up and release them few maggots. As soon as the carp see them maggots, they're in on it, and they've got your 5 or 6 maggots, what you've got on your hook, which is absolutely perfect. Yeah, I've got my dead maggots there, look. I keep them in water. They're the ones I use for my hook. The ones I actually put in the ground bait, I keep them bagged and I keep them dry, because you start to put wet maggots into your ground bait, it loses the consistency what you want to make it right. Now I know a lot of you people out there, you buy dead maggots, you buy frozen maggots and things like that. What I do with my maggots is I'll buy them and completely fridge them down. Take all the air out of them, fridge them, suffocate them. These maggots are probably about a month old, but if you look at them, they just look as fresh as the day when you bought them, and zero movement. And that's as easy as that. That is how we fished our margins today, and that is how we've caught all our fish. Right, last fish of the day, let's see how we go. My arms are hurting. We've caught that many down these edges the way it's gone. So we're going to get this fish in. There we have it. I don't know if they're getting bigger or I'm getting more tired. Perfectly hooked it bottom lip. Slipping back. Right, there you have it. Caught few fish at 2+2, but we needed them margins to kick in. And boy, they've certainly come to life for us. You know, key to it all, balance rigs, making sure your bait's right, getting them fish confident into feeding, getting them confident in bait that you're constantly putting in and feeding it constantly, gives them fish confidence to feed. You know, I hear so many people say, oh, you know, we had a deep margin today, we're nearly 3 foot deep, but we still managed to put ground bait in it and maggots and got them feeding confident. And like I said, the main key to it all is nice, steady feeding, constantly putting bait in and getting them confident in feeding. And that's what we've done. We've easily caught well over £100 in less than an hour. So get everything right, make sure your gear's confident, make sure your gear's positive, you're confident in what you're doing, feed it correctly. Don't be impatient. Please don't be impatient when it comes to catching them fish down the edge. Feed them, feed them, feed them, then take them. and your margin fishing will increase tenfold. Hope you've enjoyed everything. I've certainly enjoyed myself. We'll see you all soon.